Phil Heath.
I'm trying to make sure this seat doesn't give out. Because we definitely know that'll be on YouTube within 2 seconds. So hopefully you guys are feeling good. I see some competitors in here, so I know I can get long-winded, and I know you guys need to be getting off your feet and getting back to eating and competing, so I'm not going to necessarily be short, but I won't be offended if you leave. But I just want to say thanks to each and every one of you for coming out. Like Dave said, you know, I came in here, gosh, years ago, doing one of my first of many guest posings, and you know, Ohio definitely has been good to me, and to be able to come back, you know, as a former Miss USA to Mr. Olympia 2 times, is just an incredible experience. And to be honest, this particular weekend marks 10 years of competitive bodybuilding for me. My first bodybuilding show was April 4th, 2003 at the NPC Northern Colorado. And that's actually where I met Jay. And he and I took the infamous photo backstage of he and I doing a handshake. I'm sure some of you guys have seen it. So that was 10 years ago. And to be up here giving a seminar, to chat with you guys, and having Jay along with me tonight is just truly a blessing. So definitely having a moment for myself, like watching you guys listen to me. It's pretty crazy because I grew up playing basketball of all sports and never thought one day I'd be up on stage in some little tiny posing trunks, let alone giving a seminar about bodybuilding. But if any of you guys didn't know, you know, I played 4 years of Division I basketball at the University of Denver, and shortly thereafter, I was trying to look for something that had some greater purpose in life, because at the time, you know, my life was dedicated to basketball. And shortly after playing, I mean, you know, March Madness is always around this time, so I got done and the month of April hits, and I'm thinking, okay, now I have to finish my degree. And there was really nothing going on basketball-wise. I wasn't going to go to the NBA or anything like that. I was trying to play overseas. That wasn't working out. And then I started going to I stopped going to the varsity weight room where the basketball team would practice, and then I started going to just the student and faculty weight room. And that's where I found some guys that I actually had classes with. I had a couple of guys at one of my, I went to school for IT and business. So I was in a JavaScript class, and I recognized a couple of guys. I was like, oh, you guys training here? They're like, yeah, man, we're getting ready for a contest. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, backyard classic or something? What are you talking about? He's like, nah, man, I'm actually doing a bodybuilding show. And I'm like, well, what is that? I don't get it. So I go to a contest. I go to Mr. Colorado in 2002. Yeah, 2002. Watch Gunther Schlierkamp guest pose. I'm like, holy crap, this guy's huge. He's also white as hell. Why doesn't he have tanning on like everybody else? But, so I watched a couple of my buddies have a transformation, and then later that year, I go to another bodybuilding show, and I met Claude Gruel, former Masters Olympia champion, and he actually basically told me, he's like, you should try competing. It's like, man, I'm playing hoops, man. I'm trying to, you know, work on my crossover, you know, and then, you know, work on chicken breast and all this other stuff. You know, I just don't understand it. But the guys in my class, you know, they kept saying, hey, you know, you can just train with us. So just since I had literally probably 7 to 8 extra hours on my hands, I decided to take them on their offer and do a show 6 months later. So October 8th, 2002 was actually the start date of where I said, no more playing basketball, I'm gonna just be a bodybuilder. Bought a digital camera. This is how long ago it was. It was a 2.1 megapixel camera. So not that good, but I waited until all my teammates, because I was still living in the basketball house, I waited for all of them to leave. And it was because I was gonna take some photographs. So I remember taking these photographs, and it looked like basically out of a JCPenney catalog poses, you know, like Zoolander style, you know, just doing all these looks. And I'm not going to do them right now because it's going to make myself laugh. But no one has seen these photos, not even Flex Magazine. But they weren't that good. But basically I took these photographs to try to give myself some type of base, some type of foundation. Because a lot of people ask about, how do I get in the contest? What do I need to do to get big? what do I need to do to get shredded? And I just looked at it from an analytical point of view and said, okay, let's just take photographs, do a food diary, and really, basically I just took a sheet of paper, printed it out, had my body here, took a red marker, started photoshopping myself and said, well, this is what I want to sculpt, and this is what I want to trim down. And I just wrote notes on it. And being a computer guy, I mean, it was pretty simple for me to understand this, and then with the vast amount of resources with books and magazines, the internet wasn't as strong as it is today. We didn't have YouTube, we didn't have, you know, message boards like that to kind of figure out information. So for me, it was just a lot of trial and error, but actually hard coding everything. And so that was in October, and then April came and I did my first contest. Then 2 years later, I won the NPC 2005 Mr. USA. Then I joined Flex Magazine like a month prior to that, and gosh, the rest has been pretty much history. I mean, there's a lot of ups and downs, you know, going through that process, and you know, there's some things that I don't necessarily a lot of people understand, and I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. But I know a lot of guys probably think like they look at my nickname and they say like, oh, it's, you know, you're the gift and this and that, and really that nickname doesn't necessarily mean maybe what you guys think. The name really originated from a roommate that I had. I was at the gym one day getting ready for the Junior Nationals, and he said, I got the perfect nickname for you. And he says, I go, what is it? He goes, the gift. And I go, are you effing out of your mind? Like, this is the most arrogant piece of shit. Like, this is, I'm gonna get laughed at. You know, people are gonna think like, oh, you think you're the gift, dog. All right. And I was like, and he goes, no. He goes, no. And the guy's from, now mind you, I mean, this guy's from Greece, so he has an accent. He goes, no, like, what I mean, and I'm doing a horrible impression of him, but he goes, what I mean is that I've never seen an individual like you that is that balanced of a man, you know, bodybuilding. And I go, what do you mean? You don't act like a bodybuilder, you don't act like meathead. You drink beer on the weekends, you go to sporting events, you play video games, you do all this other stuff, and you compete. Like, you're able to do it all and still keep positive head on your shoulders, and you just don't feel the negative stereotypes that most bodybuilders like me, when we walk outside, get hit with. And I thought about it, like, well, I've just always been like this. I've always been pretty chill, easygoing, talk way too much, and just really open-minded to meeting everybody and just sharing stories. And you know, come to figure it out that I guess I was a gifted individual, obviously physically, but I would say it's more so about I found my niche in life. I really truly believe that we all have a specific gift, and that's really what I took from our chat and said what I was going to make my nickname into be, is that each and every one of you have a gift. I don't know what it may be. I have no clue. It may not be getting up on the stage. It may be something scholastic. It may be dealing with relationships. It may be dealing with, I don't know what it is, but I do know this. Once you find it, you hold on to it, you learn more about it, you become very intelligent about it, and you work your ass off for it. So then one day, when you're called upon, you can have great amount of success with it, and then hopefully share it to the world. And that's kind of like what I've been able to do. So that's really what that means. It doesn't mean that, oh yeah, man, I don't have to, you know, I don't barely have to train. I'm just a gift, man. I just wake up like this, you know? Like, no. Because trust me, I hear it all. Like, I do seminars and I hear guys from message boards and they're like, yeah, you don't really have to eat or train at all. You're just the gift. You're gonna beat Jay Cutler and this and that. I'm like, dude, are you out of your mind? Like, I have to train just as hard as everybody else, if not more, just to, you know, look like this. But enough about that. Really, I mean, you guys pretty much already know what I've accomplished. I mean, it's been a really cool road going from 2008, getting my third place at the Olympia, to going to fifth, to going to second, to going to first, staying at first. I mean, I know a lot of guys are wondering what I think about this year. I mean, I hate to sound anticlimactic, but I'm going to win again. But the way I'm going to do it, I feel, is really not trying to put a ton of stress on myself. It's kind of like anyone in here that would have like a major test, whether it be an SAT score, or let alone a presentation to give out in college or work, or even getting up on the stage. I mean, most of the time we put too much on ourselves and become very flooded with too much information. And for me, I'm just trying to keep everything very simple and break things down into segments. So really, right now I'm in my off season. I'm getting ready to start doing my biggest travel schedule of the year, which is April and May. It's the worst. I usually travel a little bit over 60,000 miles around this period, all over the world. And that's where, you know, I have to do different game plans as far as like my training and my sleeping and my dieting, as opposed to when I'm home more, I train and sleep and I, you know, do everything differently when I'm there. And then also from June to September, getting ready for Mr. Olympia. Collectively, you know, it's produced a really good result. But I'd say more mentally than anything getting ready for this year, I learned a lot from the past 2 years. I learned that, like I said, added pressure from family, from friends, from sponsors. You just have to do your best to try to stay positive. But the biggest thing is to not go into a hole, because I know a lot of guys may feel that because of it getting really rough, they have to just tune themselves out to the world. I'm sure a lot of guys and girls in here would agree that they walk into these shows and thinking like nothing else matters, like I have to just go into a cave and I gotta be in the dungeon and just going after this stuff. And I'm here to tell you that's true to an extent, but you have to be able to wind down at some point. Otherwise you're gonna be so wound up tight that by the time you get up there, you're already too tired. Mentally and more so emotionally. Because you'll see a lot of guys, they're so drained that they can't even barely hit the poses up here. And it's probably because they're so tight, like they're not relaxed. And if you look at anyone that's been extremely successful at something, they may stress to where they're puking up their guts, you know, the day of an event, but once they actually get up there, it's like they, you know, it's second nature. And that's how it always should be, because practice